Hello, everybody. Welcome to this new episode of Elevenses, the podcast about business aviation and the corporate aviation industry, powered by Private Jet Coach. My name is Martina Vincenzi. I am the founder of Private Jet Coach Academy, and today with us we have David. Welcome, David.
Thank you. Thanks for the invitation, Martina.
So David is a great achievement of mine for the podcast because David is a private jet broker, and I've been dying in order to speak with a broker and invite him or her into the podcast so to get another point of view of what is happening around a private jet. And finally I managed to get this done thanks to you, David. So the private jet broker is a very specific role, but we will get there a little bit later. First of all, if you don't mind, David, I would like to get to know something about yourself. Where do you come from? How did you end up doing this job? And tell us a little bit about your professional story.
Yeah, sure. So obviously, as you can hear, I'm French. I'm coming from France. I had the different experiences before getting into the private brokerage industry. So I worked basically in investment banking before, then I moved to HR in Norway. I worked for the Norwegian Central Bank also, then I worked as a salesman. Basically, I had the different experiences, which all led me to start my own business. I was a copywriter. So I was working in the copywriting sphere for a few years. It was good, went really fine. But I reached a point where I got two issues. The first issue was I was working in French, so the market is limited in the copywriting because it's kind of really specific. So this was the first part. I wanted to expand it a bit more internationally. And second part, copywriting is all about writing, so it's hard to delegate. It's hard you cannot really scale it to the fullest because basically what you offer is what you can write yourself. So your style is not something you can really delegate. I mean, some people can, but it's really hard. It's kind of hard. So I was looking for something that would combine all the skills, the experiences I got in the past, which led me to the private jet brokerage for some reasons. First is this industry is really based on the cultural differences. Like you don't address to someone who is based in the US as someone who is based in the Middle East. Like huge cultural differences. And I lived in France, Norway, Caribbean, Estonia before. So basically it got me like a bunch of skills, a bunch of like cultural understanding of what is necessary to do, to say. So it was the first part. Second, I speak several languages, which is really good for the industry also. So I speak French, Spanish, Norwegian, Russian, and English. So of course it doesn't do all the job, and it's far from being sufficient, but it helps to address to someone, to speak in the language, and to get to clients. So cultural part, language part, and also it's a business where you can really scale it to the fullest. You can look for clients all around the world. It's exciting. You get into really like an exciting industry where you can really scale it without limits. So I guess all of that made me interested in this role, brokerage in general and private jet brokerage in particular. So I would say that.
That's very interesting. You basically have done everything in your life.
Far from everything, but few experiences. Every experience builds you in some way, and you get something from that. So you can use it in a specific way. So, and last point I didn't mention. So I was doing copywriting, which got me really into like the online marketing, all this all this sphere, which can be really useful for the private jet industry because there is kind of a trend now to move it much more online. So it's still new, it's still kind of in the transition, I would say, but still it's really helpful. So it can help you also in a really big way.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. Indeed. Definitely. It's with the computer you can really do a lot of things, and you can run a business effectively. So. My second question for you, the role of the private jet broker. There is a little bit of confusion, and even myself, when I deliver my trainings, I end up talking about the private jet broker, but I can see that is not really clear. So David, can you please tell us exactly what is a private jet broker for people out there to understand exactly what your job is about?
Yeah, sure. I mean, in a few words, it's just private jet broker is just a broker. So you put into, there are like two parts, someone who wants to sell and someone who wants to buy, and you connect them just like a real estate broker or any type of broker. In the private jet industry, it's a bit different because there is someone who wants to rent a jet for a specific journey and someone who owns the jet, and you're just basically going to connect them. So people who own the jets are called operators. They can have one jet or several jets, like we call it a fleet. And on the other side of the spectrum, there's someone who just wants like a jet from a destination to from some city to another city, and your job is to connect them, because the person who wants the jet, who wants this journey, maybe he or she wants to travel from a city to another city with a specific number of passengers. Maybe he has a pet, which can lead to a specific jet. Maybe he has some preferences. Some people fly private a lot nowadays, so they used to fly with a certain type of aircraft. So basically, your role is to find the perfect jet for the perfect client and to match them together. Basically, is that you like the intermediary between the two.
And you have access to a worldwide range of jets, right? Like if I, from the UK, ask you for a jet, ask your support to rent a jet, for example, in America for a trip within America. So I'm in the UK, you are also away in Europe, but I want to fly in America. You are able to arrange this from distant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the job. You need to be able to have access to thousands of jets around the world and thousands of operators. Basically, we have tools nowadays to do all of that. But yeah, this is part of the job. So this is how you do it. You find the perfect jet matching the perfect requirements of the client, and you match them together. So basically, it's that.
And how do you get in touch with the operators, the companies who have the jets and the fleet? How do you get in touch with them?
You have special tools and software nowadays that you pay abonnement to, and then you can get in touch with these people. So.
Okay, so basically they advertise that they have a jet free, and you.
Yeah, it's like a database. You have they have this jet available. It's there. So I mean, if it's not, let's say you want a jet in Miami, the jet is in New York, so you know that you need to fly the jet from New York to Miami, so it can be extra cost. Or you have another operator who already have a jet in Miami, and then you can fly it directly. But is it the jet that the clients want, or is it another one, depending on the number of passengers? So basically, it's just you have access to all of that, and your job is to get in touch with the operator to know what is available and what you can offer to the client.
Mm-hmm. I see. Okay, and I know you have a very specific field that you work into. So you are specialized in gold, cash, and precious metal transportation with private jets. How does it actually work like?
Yes, because private jet industry is like any industry. If you get a niche, it's better because you basically know it better and people know you for that. So in the private jet industry, there are two parts. There is what we call private jet, which is like when you transport passengers, and there is air cargo, when you transport basically different stuff which are not passengers. So gold is a huge part of the industry. I went into this sphere for many reasons. It's kind of interesting because you get into contact with a lot of actors. Of course, gold mines, there's a huge demand in Africa. Basically, many gold mines are in Africa and they want to fly this gold outside of the country to sell it somewhere else. But you can get also in touch with central banks because they need gold for the reserve to match the cash. Some private banks, wealthy individuals. Also, casinos need a lot of cash because they need this cash to make it work. So basically, it's kind of it sounds a bit really niche, but a lot of people need gold and cash, and this transportation is transport it is a kind of an interesting mission. And you get into contact with different actors a lot in Africa, so it makes it exotic. So this is also what I was looking for, I guess.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I heard about this type of business before, but I never imagined that there is such a big demand for it. But yes, you're right. Thinking about casinos when they have to move the money into another place. It's a need, it's a requirement. So well done on you for picking up this niche and making it your niche. So
Indeed, there are huge needs, and the amount of gold flying every day is something absolutely huge. So people don't imagine how much is flying. I mean, basically, all this gold from mines which is going out needs to be transferred somewhere, and air cargo is the best and the safest way to transfer it. So obviously, for obvious security reasons, it's also used a lot. So.
Mm-hmm. And do you need like a special documentation to prepare for this type of goods to be transported? Yeah, no, I believe there are some paperwork that needs to be completed for transport, safe transportation. Like how do you create this type of transportation? How do you make them safe effectively?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a huge legal and compliance part that you need to fill. We're not going to get into the details here, but it's not like traveling, it's not like transporting two passengers from two cities in the US. So obviously, you need to handle the customs part, the tax part, the legal part, the compliance part. So it's a bit more job, which is also makes it interesting because you get into the details of it. So yeah, of course, you need to handle much more than just renting a jet and put in gold into it. So
yeah, definitely. Well, it's funny because the private jet industry is a very small industry, as you know, where we basically get to know each other very easily in even across continents. Actually, I can name a few people who fly in America and a lot of people flying in Europe and as well in the Middle East. But probably you, being such a particular niche of this industry, you are even more like a star.
Star wouldn't say so, but yeah, indeed. I mean, I'm trying to develop it for sure. And if you work in a specific field for a certain amount of time, you meet a lot of people, and then the industry. I would say it's not specific to this industry. Every world is small in itself. If you work in a specific field, you will get to know with all the people, and it's not something different.
Yeah, that's very true. Next question for you. Could you please clarify a little bit what are the steps of the process to actually hire a private jet? Let's say I need to fly from, I don't know, from London to Athens, and I get in touch with you and ask for your support in order to rent a private jet. How shall we move forward from this first contact?
First, you need to clarify the request to be sure that we're on the same page. So you said from London to Athens. For how many people? What are the dates you want to do? Do you have luggage? How much do you want to carry? And once we know about all of that, we can offer you different type of aircraft. And also, if you have a preferred aircraft, some people like to fly with a specific plane. Some people don't mind and just want the cheapest. Really depends on the people. So let's say clarify the request first. Then I will send you a few. I will get in touch with the operators, send you a few offers. You will tell me which one you like the most. Then you can proceed with a contract, signature, payment, and then you'll be ready to fly. So nothing crazy actually. It's just for passengers.
Okay. And how long does it normally take? Because I'd like to, through your experience, I'd like to explain that normally in the business aviation industry, a flight comes up with not really that much notice period. We're talking about 24 or 36 hours in advance. So what is your experience in these terms? Like how much time in advance do they actually call you to arrange a flight on a private jet?
I mean, it depends on you. If you want to in advance, it's fine. But then the point is like you can ask me a lot in advance, but maybe something will not be available or something can come out a bit later. So it depends if you really want to book it in advance or not. But you can ask at any time. Then you will have several options. These options can last or not depending on the market, and some others can come out. So really depends actually. But I mean, if you want to fly the day after, it's usually depending on the operators, but usually it's possible. So I mean, if you have specific requests, just address them, and we can work on that really fast. The key point is, I mean, people who fly private pay obviously a lot because it's not cheap to fly private. And for that, they need like a super high level of service because this is also what you pay for. So if they want a request and to be answered really fast, this is what they're gonna get. So
yeah, that's very true. It is not cheap to fly on a private jet, and the level of service that you then receive on board, it's I would say it's a mix between like a five-star restaurant service and also the fact that everything is tailor-made for you. So you can confirm, I believe, but is the customer the one that dictates from where the flight is going to take off and where the aircraft is going to land according to what he or she wants and needs in that specific time. And the customer dictates also the time of departure and many other information, many other details about the flight. So it is really the personalization of the entire flight around you and around what you need that makes it so special. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I have another question that I normally keep it as last because I like to ask this question to all my guests in the podcast and is about any memorable flight or episode that you are willing to share with us that happened to you in your job.
I will not say I will not describe it to the fullest because for obvious privacy reasons, but it's just when you get into the industry, you need to understand like the mindset of people who fly private is can be far away from like a medium class people. So sometimes I remember once I offered like a client wanted to fly from point A to point B, and there was a aircraft available. Maybe it was let's say $90K. And there was but he wanted a really specific airplane, and this specific airplane was just slightly better than the one I offered, but it was maybe 400K or like really, really. The difference in terms of comfort was really small, but the difference of price was like 5 times more. But he wanted this one, so you need to make it. It was not available in the good city he wanted, so you need to make it fly across ocean, which makes the price much higher. But the point is, you understand that for some people. Money is important and they want the cheapest option, but for some people, it doesn't matter at all. They want something, you need to offer what they want. And if you offer them like a slightly less good option at a really, really cheaper price, they're going to get upset because you don't really respect what they want. So this is something you understand from the industry. Client needs above anything else. You need to understand what matters to the client, if it's the price, or if it is what's required specifically. And if it is that, the price doesn't really matter in that case. So I would say that it was at the beginning, and I was a bit shocked, but still you get used to all of that with time. So
that's actually a very good point. And you say a very, I would say, worldwide valid truth. Money are important, but for some people they are not. And as you said, the type of clientele we have on board a private jet, if they ask for something specific, they don't want the cheaper version, they want that or whatever above that eventually. And because they want the quality or what they think is the quality for them. So that's absolutely very true. Something that I often say to my student is that in this industry, money are normally not a problem. So if you are requested with something prestigious, not easy to find, or something very expensive, if this is what they want, you get it, you go for it, and no matter what, because they wouldn't have asked otherwise, and you have to make your client satisfied. So
absolutely, you shouldn't go for the best option. You should go for the option they ask for you. So I mean, you need to understand who they are first, what do they want, and if they're on a budget or they're just one they ask for, and then depending on that, you can make a specific offer. So I would say that.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. That sounds very, very true. Well, thank you very much, David. It was very interesting to get to know your experience in terms of the private jet. Thank you also for explaining about what is a private jet broker and what what do you do as a job. It's very interesting to understand that you can be based anywhere in the world and just run this type of business from remote, so long as you have the right knowledge. Also, something that I realized and I forgot to ask you, I believe and I can sense from you that the knowledge you have about the different type of jet, you know a lot of different type of jet.
Yeah, but just comes with time. I mean, you see jets all day long, so you start to understand a bit more and a bit more and a bit more. It's like anyone who does a job on a daily basis, then you know about the different jet, what they can offer, and some clients know also they want specific ones. So yeah, it just come with time and experience, just like anything else. So no, nothing to worry about that.
Yeah, I do agree. Anyway, thank you very much for your time and for being with us today. And I'm very, very thankful for having had the chance to interview a private jet broker with us today. So that's all for today. Ciao for now and baci baci.